Akira Toriyama was a famous Japanese mangaka, considered one of the most important authors in the history of manga, especially for the creation of Dragon Ball. He recently passed away, and on Draw the Life TikTak, we couldn't miss our tribute to him. Today, we tell you about his Draw My Life. The artist was born on April 5, 1955 in the city of Kyushu, Aichi Prefecture, Japan. Since he was young, he had a great interest in drawing. He especially drew animals and vehicles, two of his passions. He inherited his adoration for cars and motorcycles from his father, who had a vehicle repair business. As for animals, throughout his life he had many pets: birds, dogs, cats, fish, lizards, and even insects. Some of them were used as models for characters he would later create, such as Karen and Beerus. Something that marked him during his childhood was the Disney movie 101 Dalmatians. That animation fascinated him so much that he expressed his desire to one day be able to create images like those. Sometime later, he would once again be fascinated by the manga collection of the older brother of a classmate at his school. He assured that Astro Boy by Osamu Tezuka was another of his sources of inspiration for the manga. In his teens, he entered a technical high school to study design, which allowed him to focus on drawing. Against his parents' wishes, after his last year of high school, Toriyama decided not to continue his studies at university and began his working life. His first job was as a publicist at an agency in Nagoya, where he designed posters. Although he quickly adapted to the job, he admitted that he was often late because it was difficult for him to get up early and they scolded him for dressing informally. After almost 3 years there, he decided to leave and fight for his dream as a mangaka. In 1977, he was looking for a job when he discovered that the Shueisha Company magazine, Monthly Shonen Jump, organized annual contests to find new talent. Shueisha was the largest manga publisher in Japan. He participated twice, but he didn't win. However, one of the editors of this publishing house became interested in him and hired him. His first manga published in shonen magazine Wonder Island went unnoticed by readers, and the following year he offered new manga projects that were rejected. A clear example that not all greats started from the top. He could have given up and ended his ambitions, but he showed that with work and perseverance, one can achieve their dreams. His first professional achievement was with Dr. Slump. This manga was serialized in Weekly Shonen Jump from 1980 to 1984. It was a great success that began to make him famous. With this work, he began to create the first anthropomorphic animals, androids, and futuristic worlds, something that would be key to his second great success. The Adventures of Dr. Slump and Arale earned him the Shogakukan Manga Award. From there, they made an anime adaptation for television. During this time, he married Yoshimi Kato, a manga artist who worked under the pseudonym Nachi Mikami. The couple confirmed that on some occasion, she helped Toriyama and his assistant in Dr. Slump when they had little time. The couple had 2 children, Sasuke and Kika. After the success he was beginning to have, he considered that he wanted to maintain a certain independence and created his own work studio, Bird Studio, in 1983. The artist spent most of his time creating at home. It is said that he had a somewhat reclusive lifestyle and that he avoided appearing in public or in the media. Given his shyness, he even used an avatar called Robo Toriyama since December 1980, so he could represent himself in mangas and interviews. After the conclusion of Dr. Slump, he began writing a short story called Dragon Boy, which shortly after changed the name to Dragon Ball and began its creation as a new manga. The Adventures of Son Goku and his friends brought him stardom in Japan and abroad. For its creation, he was inspired by the Chinese novel Journey to the West, considered the most popular literary work in East Asia. In this novel, the experiences of Sun Wukong are narrated, a character who is called the Monkey King because of his physical features so similar to this animal, and his 4 friends, while they search for some sacred writings with the intention of bringing them back to China. The Monkey King travels on a cloud that allows him to travel a long distance in a short time, and he can take on different shapes. He also has an indestructible staff that can be extended and practices martial arts. All these characteristics are present in Akira's work. For the combat scenes, Toriyama was based on some Jackie Chan films and introduced kung fu movements. The design of several of Dragon Ball's locations came from the structure of some buildings in China, as well as from photographs of locations that his wife had taken. For example, the island where the martial arts tournament takes place bears similarities to Bali, Indonesia, where Toriyama and his wife had gone before. When creating the characters, an important aspect for the artist was height. He drew the most powerful characters smaller, contrary to what he saw as a stereotype, where the most powerful were always larger. Before drawing them, he imagined what their biography and character was. He usually started by tracing the face and then continued with the clothing. Dragon Ball is considered one of the most influential and popular works of recent years and has served as inspiration for other famous manga artists, such as the creators of One Piece, Naruto, Bleach, and Fairy Tail. A large franchise of products was created about its universe: collectible cards, action figures, toys, video games, etc. After Dragon Ball, he would continue with Dragon Ball Z. By 1996, he had already written almost 9,000 pages of the character's adventures. The original saga was adapted into a television series, which was a worldwide success, broadcasted in more than 80 countries. The company that made the Dragon Ball anime, Toei Animation, attempted to continue the story, but Toriyama refused. So the company decided to make an original series itself as another sequel. Although at the request of Toei Animation, Toriyama helped in the beginning of the project. It was the anime in which he contributed the least. This is how Dragon Ball GT began, which wasn't as successful as previous versions. After the Dragon Ball series, he continued making short stories, including Kowa, Kajika, Sandland, and Nekomajin, among others. Later, in 2008, he contributed to developing a new Dragon Ball Z animation to celebrate the 40th anniversary of Weekly Shonen Jump magazine. In 2009, Toriyama drew a manga titled Delicious Islands Mr. U for an environmental nonprofit that teaches the importance of agriculture and nature to young children. They asked him to do just the illustrations for a booklet, but Toriyama liked the project so much that he decided to expand it into a story. His work is included in a brochure of environmental awareness distributed by the government of the city of Anjo. It wasn't his only work to raise awareness and help, because in 2011, the video he created in collaboration with Weekly Shonen Jump in support of those affected by the 2011 earthquake and tsunami in Japan was also very popular. In 2012, he entered the world of Dragon Ball again, getting involved in the film Dragon Ball Z Battle of Gods. It marked his first theatrical release and also the first time he participated in the initial versions of the script. The film was released on March 30th, 2013. In 2015, new adventures of Goku were confirmed with Dragon Ball Super, which was released by Toei Animation on July 5th, 2015, and concluded on March 25th, 2018. The story was directed by Toriyama himself, and the illustrations were made by Toyotaro, a cartoonist chosen by the artist himself to continue with the franchise. The same year, he also collaborated on the film Dragon Ball Z Fukatsu no F, in which he was in charge of the art, concept, script, and story. When Dragon Ball Super ended, the new movie that would continue the story was announced: Dragon Ball Super Broly. It premiered on November 14, 2018, becoming a success both at the box office and with critics. The film was written and supervised by Toriyama and directed by Tatsuya Naganime, whom Toriyama personally chose for his talent in portraying the characters. His work was praised worldwide, and in 2019 he was decorated as a Chevalier, or a Knight of the Order of Arts and Letters by the French government, for his great contribution to art. That same year, he was also nominated for induction into the Will Eisner Hall of Fame. And thanks to his work as a video game designer, IGN ranked him 74th on its list of the 100 greatest game creators of all time. Toriyama's success also led him to work on the character design of several video games such as Dragon Quest, the role-playing video game Chrono Trigger for Super Nintendo and Super Famicom, and the fighting video games for PlayStation Tobal No. 1 and Tobal No. 2. And in collaboration with the publisher Shueisha, he was in charge of designing the main mechas for the video game and anime, Kuso Kagaku Sekai Gulliver Boy. His last contribution was for the Xbox 360 console, in the role-playing game Blue Dragon. In addition to the video game, he was also involved in the series of the same name. This made him realize that it had been something unknown to him and he had discovered that he really liked video games, as he mentioned in a Rolling Stone magazine interview. In October 2023, he confirmed that he was working on a new season of Dragon Ball, called Dragon Ball Daima, in which Goku and his friends become small and leave for a new world in a story full of adventures with traditional characters. AKIRA himself mentioned that he had the story, the settings, and various designs. Unfortunately, he will not be able to see this finished project, which is scheduled to premiere in the fall of 2024, because on March the 1st, the artist died at the age of 68. As expected, the news of his death has shocked half of the world. His legacy in the manga and anime industry was, is, and will be undeniable. A great artist who left a great impact on those who grew up watching and reading his works. The adventures of Goku and his friends were not only entertaining, but also transmitted values such as friendship, self-improvement, and the importance of fighting for what one believes. Although the master of manga is no longer with us, his work and legacy will live on for many more generations. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like it, and if you want to see more Draw My Life videos, subscribe to our channel. See you in the next episode!